or for me, part of like creating this avatar, or I don't even know if I consider myself like a character yet, but like creating this channel like CitizenMetaOne was to kind of create a space where I could like talk about that stuff, not have
Totally.
responsibilities to like the real life person who like I remember just talking about briefly just like NFTs, like, oh, like when everyone was first discovering them, it was like I was like, oh, what are these? Like I don't know people personally, but I was in the Cinema 4D creator community for quite a while, and I was like, oh, all my former friends are doing these, and then and even
Yeah.
with like VTubers, I think have a certain stigma, and then NFTs have a certain stigma, and perhaps the whole metaverse, the idea of that even is polarizing for some people. So like for me, I was like,
Mm.
I'm gonna go into like VTuber form over here, and it seems like that would be safe to do it there, even though most people know who I am.
You're so talented. I just want to backtrack. Can you tell everyone that's listening like your background? Like I think you'd best to explain it yourself, but I just, oh my goodness, I came across your like tutorials online and with your cinematography and all of that.
I would say like my first like real career was as a live action cinematographer or director of photography. So I worked on commercials primarily, and music videos for a lot of artists,
Justin Bieber,
and was
right?
doing camera work and lighting, real world things.
Yeah.
And then from there, I started to get into previs because I was doing a lot of VFX stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm like doing the camera work and the lighting in the real world, working on VFX projects. And it came to a point where it's like, okay, I need to really understand the 3D aspect of it. So I started to get like really into the 3D, but from a live action filmmaker's point of
Yeah.
view. And so I got really, really, really into previs, and I started making my own previs tools in Maya. I released some for Cinema
Whoa.
4D that were very popular. And then I got contacted by Epic Games to make them in Unreal Engine. And then I made a video game called Cinetracer, which is like kind of like a video game
Yeah, that's what I
for
saw.
previs.
Oh, wow. That's
So
insane.
so then with Epic, I was like, I'm like a filmmaker, but also like a game developer, like the game on Steam. We have a lot of users. So I've worked with Epic as an actual game developer. I've spoken for them. I've done like presentations as like a game dev
Mm.
at GDC. And but then I think what a lot of people and I don't know what we say about, in this space or in this last couple of years kind of found me because I was the director and DP of Epic Games' first virtual production demo. So if you saw anything that was like
Yes.
a motorcycle in like the desert, the,
Yeah, and the Mandalorian. Wait, is that the stuff with the Mandalorian?
yeah, exactly. So we
Yeah.
basically at SIGGRAPH did like a demo with the exact Mandalorian team with the exact same tech, just a much, much smaller version. We
Wow.
basically debuted that to SIGGRAPH and to like the whole VFX community. And so I was the director DP of that project. And that's where a lot of people these days, I wasn't doing it as an avatar, but that's where they know, my work as Matt Workman, kind of like virtual production cinematographer. So that's very much where like with Epic that like most people have seen that stuff. Like I posted that video on my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
one of them, and it has like 3 million views or something. And then
Crazy.
that just
Yeah.
went very viral. But since then, I've done a lot of the webinars, what I could do from home. So I've done a ton of webinars with Epic, like across the board,
Yeah.
replacing like the in-person conferences. And then when MetaHumans came out, it felt like they kind of made them for me. I know they didn't, but
They did. No, I'm kidding.
one for my game Cinetracer. I'm putting the metahumans into the game right now, which is pretty tricky. But having photoreal 3D humans in a previous app for filmmakers is pretty incredible.
Mm.
And then I've just always been enamored by Siren. Right? You're familiar with that demo from like it was a while back.
Oh,
It's
is
one of the
that with
SIGGRAPHs, I
the
think.
three lateral dudes? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was Cubic before Cubic Motion, the face
Whoa.
motion capture company, got
That's crazy.
bought by Epic. Probably like one of the best looking real time human, and her name was Siren. And ever
Mm.
since that came out, I was like, I would love to be able to live puppet. A realistic virtual human,
Yeah.
myself. And so when MetaHumans came out, since they've come out, I've stopped like basically everything to just learn how to render metahumans, program them into games, and then just kind of naturally, it just kind of made sense to do VTuber work. And then I found I had never heard of like really VTubers at this quality, but finding CodeMiko, finding creators like yourself,
Oh.
just finding like this whole range of people that were already doing it.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. You're a polymath, dude. Like you were so talented, and I think I came across a lot of your stuff. Like a lot of your stuff went viral, like the virtual production, the webinars for Unreal Engine. A lot of people, yeah, really appreciate what you're doing and all the content that you're putting
Oh, well,
out.
thank you, thank you. I mean, it's funny because I have like, as I started to do MetaHuman stuff, I've had like single creators that have like kind of pushed me in certain directions. So for a while, I think before we were speaking, I was doing a lot of mocap stuff, and you're in a mocap suit. I don't know
Oh
if
my
you tell
god.
people that or not, but
Yes, I'm wearing a Rokoko suit. I've got a standard deviation helmet on with my iPhone. Yeah.
whoa. You're wearing a standard deviation helmet, man. That is
Yes.
intense. That is hardcore. My phone is on my desk, and currently I'm just wearing 3 Vive trackers and a t-shirt. I could do this. I stream for like I could do like 4 hours, and it's no
That's
big
amazing.
deal.
Yeah.
But that is commitment. I mean I really respect the VTubers who are like full body. I've met a couple. I was like, that is a commitment I haven't even attempted yet. But like, I think I was in mocap world for a little bit there, like testing a lot of mocap stuff. But then
Yeah.
I think, and then when we started speaking, I was like, oh, it's like I really want to get back to like live mocap, as like what we would. I consider this like the greater category is like just live puppeting, live mocap. Like I really
Yeah.
want to get back into VTubing, and so like I feel like every time we've interacted, I was like, oh, I need to go make my VTuber look better. So if we're gonna do this interview, we're gonna do we could do something like somewhat live. I was like, I need to show up and be able to do something. So like you very recently and continue to help push me into like getting like the live stuff working.
I saw
So
your
I really appreciate
motorcycle.
that. Yeah, he's not loaded. I could load him up, but
Yes.
he's
Yes. 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 Can you?
camera tracking.
VTuber
Yeah,
live.
so here's VTuber with his hands ripped off because it has no data.
Yep.
But let's see here. So I'm Unreal Engine 5 here.
Oh, you're on
Just a
five.
fully
Yeah, of
green
course.
world. I think this will be okay. I haven't used the bike since a couple days ago.
Oh, look at it.
The
That's so
bike tuber.
epic. No pun intended.
Let's see. It looks okay. We don't using any of the trackers. Ooh, what's the camera gonna do? Actually, I don't really know. Well, let's see.
Ooh.
I should be able to still move my camera. Okay, there we go. Oh, the lighting's not that fast. I think something happened with the lighting. But
Damn.
okay. So here is bike tuber,
Yeah.
and this one's entirely controlled from my head. And if I lean my head back,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
do the wheelie like that.
That's
And then of
amazing.
course just AR kitting the face. So it's all written in Control Rig, which is like a fairly new plugin for Unreal Engine, but it just allows stuff like this to happen easier than it would have if we didn't have Control Rig. And so like this is where I like writing my own solvers. And I mean I could drive around here, like we could just put it in like a simple character and just drive it around, kind of not with like nice nice bike physics or anything like that, but I could like move him around
That'd be
in like a
sick.
3D space.
And you're like MetaHuman looks really like you, by the way.
He's stock. This is just like right out of the MetaHuman creator. It has I mean it's mostly the face is the tech. It's just like the way that it moves when it's done
Yeah.
right, and it's only going to get better. Like this is like very early prototypey release. It's like there's still like kind of like a beta early release.
Yeah.
They're designed to move so nicely, and the hair too. The hair is one for me. If you want realistic hair, if you're going anime hair or like you want hair physics, yeah, like
I'm
cool
just
hair
like,
physics.
yeah.
Yeah, then you go the stylized. But
Yeah.
again, for me, I like the ground. I like the hyper real. I was inspired by Siren and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I think I probably will at some point jump into some stylized stuff. My first VTuber was a much more stylized World of Warcraft
Ooh.
VTuber. So I like basically recreated my like in-game character, and then I VTubed as that character was the gag.
Oh my
And
god.
so that was super full like magical armor and whatnot. I didn't have rigs like this back then. I was still like kind of new to writing it. But should I return back to that world, I'll probably stick a MetaHuman head on there. But now I can move around much easier and have like just hopefully more and more abilities.
So yeah, it was always my dream to like have a music studio like where I'm making music. So like that's like the long end game for me, like with streaming.
Mhm.
I wanna stream live while I'm producing music in real time, and and in between that make VTuber friends like yourself and bring them into the environment.
There's I know of a couple other musicians who are in this space. I made like that highlight video. Did you see Jaruna's live stuff where he's like playing the actual piano?
Oh yeah. How's that done? Is that OSC or what?
Yeah, pretty much. It's the MIDI plugin, but it's the same thing. It's like you push a note, and it sends it to Unreal Engine in some form. So his is MIDI, but OSC would be even better. I think OSC is much nicer to work with. But it's the control rig he wrote to actually get the hand onto the key. I was like, I mean, ever since he started
Genius.
making things, I was like, we immediately connected. I was like, okay, listen, you're building the stuff that we need here. I was like, I hope you get a mega. I was like, you need to get a mega grant. I need you to keep making these for like 5 years because it takes a long time to build these out and have them work well. I was like, you build every instrument, and it's like, I guess it doesn't
Damn.
have to be a MetaHuman. I tend to work with a lot of MetaHuman people. It's like we're gonna have the MetaHuman musician army, right? And it's like to
Ooh, we
actually
should form
push the
a
real
musician
keyboard and
group.
have the MetaHuman push it.
Yeah.
Not many people are doing that, and that seems like a control rig you would want eventually.
Yeah, yeah, hook a girl up. But you're a drummer, aren't you? You're a muso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we could call drumming musicians, you know, we're a
Rhythm.
specific breed. But I did a little bit of mixed reality on my on my other YouTube channel. It's called Cinematography Database. I do a lot of like live action filmmaking content, not so much these days. But so when I was doing Unreal Engine stuff for that channel, it was like doing it on a green screen and then tracking the camera. And so a lot of people know me from that kind of work too. And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do on this for this project? I was like, I'm going to play the drums. So I got myself an actual, you know, dream electronic drum set
Yeah.
with my mega grant money, and then did, you know, just did virtual production stuff with it. So yeah, that's the drumming. I've writing it right, like me sitting on the real drums and having the MetaHuman do that is pretty rough because there's all this anticipation of the hit. So it's like by the time we get the note into the system, it's like my hands already moved so quickly. So that would be pretty tough. So I've actually been looking to. I want to program a control rig like Jeroen can play the piano and it does the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to do something like an MPK, like a Kai Mini or something like that. So it's more like
Yeah,
drum
yeah.
pads and like a little keyboard. Because then I could like finger drum. And I could have my
Ooh.
MetaHuman match that one. That should be like acceptable. So
That would
that's
be
probably the.
so cool, dude. That would be so cool. And you know what I'd love to see is like Matt versus CitizenMetaOne, like drumming off, I don't know, like the VTuber versus the real human in an XR.
Oh, I could do it. I have on my cinematography database channel. One of the videos that did the best was I had like a gigantic green screen in my basement, which is a fairly large basement. So I had like I was tracking a virtual camera, right? So it's like I'm just like moving a virtual camera around with my hands, basically. Like kind of have it's exactly how these hands are moving too. This is how I learned how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then I would like me as a person would step in front of the green screen and I had tracked a behind the scenes camera. So it looked like I was in like my physical real world body was in that actual 3D world, but then I was filming in that 3D world at the same time. And then there was a 3D avatar in there who I was
Whoa.
filming. So it looks like I'm in there in real life. And then you could also see the view that I was filming virtually. And so the next step is to just have it so that like I'm actually live puppeting it, which is it's like that's like the progression for most virtual production mixed reality people is it's like track the camera, LED wall or green screen, and then you throw a mocap character in there. And like that's the fun virtual production stuff, you know, it's all the fun stuff you see in the big movies, you know, it's becoming indie.
Yeah.
So it could be done. It could definitely be done. I'm not doing mixed reality. I much prefer to be a MetaHuman. My goodness. I don't even own real clothing anymore. I swear, like there's a consistency about it. And then like an evolution too, you know, so I can change my clothes slowly. And I am very excited about this. How do you feel about it? Like
Yeah.
I imagine you've done a lot of content like in person and then, you know, I'm not sure, but you know, but like how does it feel being virtual? Like, do you prefer it? Is it like an alternative? Or are you like, I'm never showing up in person again?
That's a great question. My story is interesting because ever since I was 3 years old, I was on stage as a performer, right? And
Oh wow.
always singing, dancing, acting. So like, you know, long before all of this digital stuff. And then I started the Vinci project and, yeah, I had the avatar then, and ever since then, it's always been actually about the avatar's story and not so much about, the human. And the music videos were done in Unreal Game Engine, and that's how like I tell the story narrative and tease it out over time. Yeah, it's almost like the in real life and then the fantasy superheroine character at the same time. So you've got the real human connection, like when I'm performing, but you've also got the storytelling.
Mine's like completely superficial. I like just not having to like look like manage anything when I'm making like my mountains of content because like I'm in like legitimately like disgusting sweatpants and Crocs and I'm just in my green screen basement like filming stuff. I'm like, oh, this is kind of funny. Like so like now like when I'm doing virtual character stuff, it just is even more appropriate to just always show up as a virtual. I'm like, oh great, I can just work. It moves and I just work and I don't have to worry about it. So that's a superficial reason, but I think maybe a lot of people can relate to that. And then I mean, this is the first, like, again, like VTuber to VTuber. I don't personally like the word VTuber. It's just what everyone understands.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's my first interaction with it. And I just feel like this could go into like an infinite number of directions where like even in, like in person, it's like, it's not that many directions we're going to go with it. If we'd have to be like on an XR stage. It's like, we're going to sit next to each other on with a desk.
Yeah.
And there's going to be 2 mics and 3 cameras. But this could be like, we could be just driving on your spaceship and I'd be on my bike. And you know, this just has so many more directions. So I'm so excited to explore that.
I love that. Yeah, it's like gamifying life. You can't, there's a limit to gamification when you're your ordinary human self.
Yeah, there really is. And there's I come from like the film industry where, like, you know, we film, you know, real people mostly, and then we put them in like, you know, fantastical places and light them and whatnot. But yeah, there's a massive limit there, especially like your spaceship. If you were to even attempt like one angle from that in the real world at the like the scale, even if you like did like a nice force perspective so you didn't have to build it like 50 feet tall, it's like,
yeah,
this is not, no one is doing that. Like, that is just way beyond it. But as soon as you go virtual, it's like, yeah, everyone has like a full ass spaceship, you know? And it's like, well, but how good was your design? And that's another aspect of like, what can we do to push it forward? Which is, I was excited to find your content. I remember like, I think I found you on either YouTube or Instagram. I have my account set to just hunt 3D creators who do live lately is my most interest. I'm mostly interested in that. I was looking at a lot of people who are animating, but ones that could do it live, you know, like we're doing right now, you know. So yes. I think the Instagram algorithm sent me to you is how I found you. I think
that's sick. You know, what's some real nerdy stuff here. I mean, is this possible? So like, you have your world set up, I've got my world set up, and we're on VTubers, and then how you know, like gamifying it so like I like blast something into your world, or you like come on your motorbike and you like ride into the spaceship live. Is that possible, like to cross projects?
Yeah, and that's where like, you know, the practical metaverse would be great. Is just to like, okay, I have we're both Unreal Engine VTubers, right? We have our blueprints, our skeletal meshes, and our, you know, our mocap input to making them move, right? Yeah. I'm just currently in front of a green screen. It's like, can we get those into the same space easily?
Yeah,
like literally the same 3D space and have them line up. It's all like normal multiplayer video game developing at this point, meaning it is like really difficult to do well. Like as soon as we're both like, we basically both end up puppeting a remote version on a server, and then that gets replicated back to us, and keeping that all in sync is just pretty heavy. If we were local, it would be much easier. If we were in the same like office or the same room, and I mean, we could be in the same tracking volume at that point, but like the internet would have to be very, very fast. Like any delay, it starts to be weird. But if you look at VR chat, they kind of have it going. It's just that like they're not sending all that much data back and forth. But VR chat's the closest. Like if we both went into VR chat as like whatever avatars, we would be in the same space and we'd see each other. It's just VR though. So like you can't render these like a MetaHuman at this quality in VR yet. And I refuse to compromise that at this point. And your set as well would probably be pretty heavy. Any lighting, actually, any actual lighting is tough for VR, but it's coming. I think the 2D version is pretty good for now, which is kind of what I've written here. I'm just on a green screen. So if you put a green screen behind you, we could just both comp each other. And a lot the 2D VTubers work this way. We could just like comp each other into like an OBS scene, and it would mostly look, you know, it's a bit of a stage show, but it looks like we're in the same scene. And then we could do some sort of live triggering back and forth. We would have to write that though. I'd have to receive, like, you could send me an OSC signal over the internet or whatever, TDP, whatever. We would just have to have like the same connection to a host. So it's a bit of multiplayer network, and I would rather not do it. I'm hoping that we get an Unreal Engine VR chat. That's really what I would like, is that we just like a Roblox or like core kind of like the core Roblox Unreal Engine game that exists. But like, I really just want to like VR chat people can just do this. Like, we're so far behind them. I could just take my avatar, skin it, give it the right morph target names, right skeleton, upload it to VR chat, and boom, we're just in the 3D world together. But they could definitely write it, but like, I'm not sure like if it makes sense for them. But I want that. You know, if we talk about like just like metaverse stuff, it's like I would start with just a VR chat for Unreal Engine users. That would be great. It's like, oh, cool, I can come to your set. Oh, you got the music? I like it. Hey, you want to give me the virtual tour of your studio? I haven't seen it yet.
This is the establishing shot, and this is my studio. That's the face cam view. I kind of call it like Zoom view. Here we got the interview.
I like
Yeah. And so like,
I like
yeah,
this one.
this is like my workstation when I want to make music, right? And so I can actually I don't have Ableton open at the moment, but obviously I'd bring it onto that middle screen and I'd like,
Wow.
you could just see it as I'm doing it. Those instruments don't do anything, they're just there for props at the moment, but like they actually like simulate what like equipment I actually use to make music, like you know, the Novation Launchpad and all the like hardware synths as well, and I think the UAD sound card to adjust volume and MIDI keyboards and the Rolly C board, but it's a nice white version. So yeah, my goal would be to eventually like program it so I can actually do that in real time, right?
That's a big project. Ooh, I like that view. Wow,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
like
try
if you're
and
DJing.
activate myself. Give me a second. Am I there?
Oh, you teleported.
Yeah, it's really funny when I like activate myself. It's like glitch, and like right now I'm on treadmill mode in
Yeah.
because like it doesn't work. Like, I just will end up probably like outside the environment if I move around. And the funny thing is, it was a real exercise in restraint because like in real life when I DJ, right, I am like a complete crazy, like I jump on the decks and all of that.
Yeah.
But this one at the moment I just have to kind of keep it more tame and more chill because the suit will do some fun things.
Yeah.
Especially live, right? And I'm not cleaning the data. It's the principle of the matter and setting it up. Whatever. This like boiler room kind of vibe here. So, but yeah,
This is great.
I haven't worked
you are
out
set up.
spatial. Like at the moment, I'm just kind of
Oh, I can help with that. Like,
Yes,
I mean, those are the type of systems. Like I said, like it's controller. Like it's. I mean, we implement through control rig. It's for this.
Yeah.
It's for like live. Like I haven't done a turntable one. That would be interesting. I think I'm gonna do like an MPC Akai. So it's like, it becomes way less about like actually like, you know, like where's your real hand and where do I put the virtual hand.
Yeah.
It becomes way more programmed. It's like you hit that pad and we have that position stored and we know where to do it. So you could definitely do turntables. I mean, like, have I danced on this on a recording? I don't think I have yet.
No,
so
dance.
you might want.
Dance for
So
me,
you
dance
might
for
want.
me, dance for me.
Well, hold on. Let me back it up here.
Let's
Let
have
me
a
back
party.
this up. Oh no, hold up the view. Hold up. Like it's a slow back out.
This
So
strobing, I have to go like warning.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you should put that on like on the YouTube video. We can write dancing into the medi. I mean, this is like what I'm currently working on. So here's my dance. You would probably rather be dancing in real
Wait,
life.
is
Like
this,
that would be more
is
fun.
this like live mocap?
No, this
No,
is
no.
procedural actually.
Yeah, I was
This is
gonna
just
say.
completely generated.
Yeah.
So I can make this dance perfectly match whatever song, just like through code.
No.
And so I've been,
way.
oh yeah, easy. And so
Yeah.
I've been writing these control rigs. So my upper body is live, but my lower body is just a machine. Well, it looks good enough. And let me tell you,
how does
if
it
I was to
feel?
dance, if I was to dance in real life and try to do this, it's not this smooth.
CitizenMetaOne, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on board the Vinci HOLOSHIP studio and Vinci's first ever talk with a fellow VTuber.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me. This is also my first VTuber to VTuber. That's what we're calling each other now,
Yep.
I guess. And yeah, love your work. Looking forward to seeing what you're doing with, you know, Unreal Engine and live character work and music. Those are all very cool things in my opinion. So very much looking forward to following what you're up to.